Hello, my friends, and welcome to my review of the very first episode of Gangsta, the brand new gangster-themed anime series, which was honestly pretty freaking hardcore and badass. I myself am a big fan of mob movies like The Godfather, Goodfellas, Untouchables. I'd go as far as to say that Goodfellas is probably in my top 5 favorite movies of all time, and this series right here totally lives up to those awesome mafia ideals. This series is all about these two handymen known as Warwick and Nicholas, who basically work for anyone for hire. The cops, the mob, and they do dirty work. They kill people. They massacre people in really stylish ways. And this whole series is all about them living in this fictional city known as Ergostalum. And I'm not really sure where it's located. It might just be something that's completely made up. And the actual setting is kind of interesting. It almost seems like a European setting, despite the fact that one of the main characters, Nicholas, looks kind of like an ex-Yakuza member. These guys are freaking awesome. So let me just talk about what I thought about the first episode, which was basically just introducing the main characters, showing what they do, and one of the other brand new characters who's going to be a part of their team, who is a female by the name of Alex, who's a former prostitute who gets beaten around by her mob boss and her team, and it's up to Warwick and Nicholas to end up saving her. They're actually going on this mission thanks to this one police officer by the name of Chad, who sends them to take out this one guy by the name of Barry. And they just pretty much demolish their entire team. They corner them in an alley, they use guns, they use katana blades, and they do it with extreme prejudice. It is also worth mentioning that this show right here is not for the faint of heart, and it's definitely not for kids. Drugs, sex, blood. This series is very unapologetic, and honestly, I love it for that. It's very intense, and the opening intro is absolutely fantastic. The song is good, the imagery is high energy and awesome, and it introduces you to all of the main characters who are going to be in this show. So like I said, this episode is all about being introduced to Warwick and Nicholas. Warwick is kind of like the straight man of the group. He does most of the communications, he's definitely very slick, the Eddie Haskell of the group, if you will, and I love his design. He's got long, flowing blonde hair, he's got this awesome eye patch. I especially loved when they were pissing off that one mob boss that he actually referred to him as a Patchy the Pirate-looking motherfucker. The dialogue in this series is great. Opposite to Warwick, you have Nicholas. Nicholas is freaking badass. It's the only way I can describe this character. Now, what's really interesting about him is that he's a man of few words. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that he's mute and deaf. Or maybe not exactly. Throughout the course of this entire episode, everybody communicates with him with sign language. He doesn't really have anything to say, and I think that's a really interesting character trait to give to someone in an anime series. But by the end of the episode, when they end up saving Alex the prostitute and trying to claim her as their own, going up to the cops, Nicholas gets up in this cop's face, kicks this cop car, which literally flips up into the air before it goes back down to the ground, and then he starts to speak, and it almost seems like it's a different language, because obviously I'm watching the English subtitled version, you have the English subs, and right below that was another language that I'm not quite familiar with. It might be Japanese, it might be Chinese, I'm not the authority on that. All I know is, he actually spoke to this cop and freaked him the hell out. I don't know if this is something that he can only do like a small amount of time or every once in a while he can talk, but it's really interesting. So this episode right here was just really good. I know this review is all over the place and jumbled, but I just got done watching the episode. I wanted to give my thoughts on it, and I loved it. I love the style. I love the designs of the characters. I love the design of the city, and I love the fact that it's all revolved around mobs and mob families and police and this group of people who are known as the Handymen. Now, like I said, they call themselves the Handymen, but they also go by another name, which is the Benria, which I'm guessing this is basically just a nice name for the fact that these guys are basically hired mercenaries who will do dirty jobs. They're going to do the wet work, so to speak, and I really cannot wait to see how this story is going to unfold, because at the beginning of the episode, they're trying to help out this young girl, Alex, who seems like she's desperately trying to get away from this mob boss and working as a prostitute, and by the end of the episode, when this mob boss is killed, she's still so angry at this guy that she picks up a gun and unloads it on his dead corpse. That's when she finally decides to work along both Warwick and Nicholas, bringing together this brand new unlikely team of heroes. So what's the rundown on the first episode of Gangsta? It totally lives up to the name. This series is freaking hardcore and a lot of fun. If you consider yourself a fan of mob movies or mob TV shows like The Sopranos or even, more darker stuff like Breaking Bad and some of those shows, you're totally gonna dig this. This is exactly what that type of series is all about. And of course, it's got the anime style to back up everything else. It's a series that's grounded in realism, but you still got your guy with his katana sword who's killing people in one slash with blood flowing all over the place. It's really stylistic and violent, but it's a lot of fun. The freaking intro, though, is so damn good. The song is good. The imagery is amazing. I love everything about it. There's also another interesting detail that I did not bring up when I was talking about the episode. The actual handymen themselves, the Benria, they're also known as dog tags, and that's because that one character, Nicholas, does have these dog tags on. I'm not sure why they're so significant. Apparently, there are these group of people in this city, when they're wearing dog tags, they're considered badass. I just cannot wait to learn about the backstories of these characters, and I just can't help but imagine that it's going to end tragically, only for the fact that it is a mob series and they usually don't end very well. What I will say is I loved the characters, I loved the realism, I love the setting and the atmosphere, the music is great, it's got this sort of hip-hop inspired soundtrack, which goes really well against the whole mafia backdrop of this entire series. I just really like this one a lot. It really caught me off guard. I thought this was just going to be sort of a generic show, but I'm really interested in the characters, the setting, and what they're going to do with it. And I would highly recommend this show, like I said, if you're a fan of mob movies or anything that involves the mafia, because this show is just going to be really, really fun. So I liked the first episode quite a bit. I think I am going to review the series. In fact, the first episode right here, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. It did a great job of introducing the main characters and the concepts of the show. I just want to learn a little bit more about these guys, and hopefully some of the animation and action scenes they'll make a little more elaborate as the series is going on. But as far as first impressions go, I thought this was a pretty damn good episode. So Gangsta, check it out. Brand new anime series for summer 2015. I'm digging it, and I'm going to check out the rest of the show, and so should you guys. So I'm going to give this episode, like I said, a 4 out of 5. Check it out, guys. Really cool stuff. So I loved the first episode of Gangsta, but what about you guys? Did you check out the first episode? What did you think of the introduction of Warwick and Nicholas and Alex? And what do you hope to see from the brand new anime series, Gangsta? Please tell me in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching my review. Make sure to like it, share it with all of your friends, and make sure to subscribe to the channel. That way you can see all of our latest anime and manga reviews as they are released. You guys can also follow us on social media. Thank you guys again for watching, and as always, stay dandy, baby.